you doing in your early 20s? For many, it probably wasn't making plans to run for your state's legislature.
No, but one young gentleman is. Chris Sorge, a Nebraska native, full-time student and worker, now a Wyoming resident, is running for the Wyoming legislature at just 20 years old. News 5's Dara Newsom is live in the studio. And Dara, what brings Sorge back to Nebraska?
Well, Jen and Colin, Sorge says calls for interviews brought him here, but he was also born and raised in KHAS, Nebraska, the place he says where he developed his core values and the reason he's still in politics today. For Chris Sorge, his love for politics started in grade school when his elementary teacher introduced him to Congressman Adrian Smith. Years later, Sorge had the opportunity to work for him.
I served on his first campaign and then his second re-election. I actually held an event for him, set it up, planned it in KHAS at the restaurant I worked at. Sorge's work with Smith led him to other political opportunities, including the campaign for Nebraska Governor Dave Heineman. But in 2010, Sorge moved to Douglas, Wyoming with his grandparents and began his college career. But he didn't leave his political roots behind. Our present holder of the seat wasn't active on the floor. 76-year-old Richard Kennedy's quiet demeanor is what pushed Chris to run against him and perhaps becoming the youngest legislature in the history of Wyoming. The big issue in Wyoming is our road system. Our roads account is bankrupt. The cash flow is not there. Raised on family and Christian values, Sorge thinks he can lead Wyoming in a better direction. One of the women who taught him those values is his campaign manager, his grandma.
He'd say, when I get to be president, you're going to be my speech writer. That's when I really realized how interested he was in the government.
He is a political science major at Eastern Wyoming College. If you're wondering if Sorge is old enough, he is. You must be 21 at the time of taking oath. He will be 21 years old next month. Live in the studio, Dara Newsom, News 5.